Welcome back, everybody. I'm James Chen.
Hey, I'm UltraDavid. It's been week number 6 in the Street Fighter League, and let's get to it.
And we begin this week with Team Psycho, which is Toy, Just a Kid, and Chakotay, versus Team Frost with Nephew, Dual Kevin, and Up to Snuff.
Very interesting, the bans that Psycho banned Colleen, obviously against Nephew. But we've already seen Nephew's G and how strong that is. What do you think about this ban?
I don't know. There was something about during that pre-interview, Toy almost kind of seemed worried about Colleen. Maybe they just don't like the matchup. We've obviously seen Nephew do well with G, but you know, they're gonna ban Colleen anyway.
Okay, all right. And then, look, naturally, of course, Frost banned a Bison from Toy.
Yeah.
Everybody's been doing it.
He's never gonna, Bison's never gonna see the light of day for Toy. I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but man, it's an unfortunate situation.
I think you might be
Toy.
right about that. Yeah. In the order, you had Psycho going with Toy, Just a Kid, Chakotay. What do you think about this?
It's interesting. I mean, obviously Toy is going first. I feel like they're throwing him to the wolves, throwing him into the fire, basically. And Just a Kid and Chakotay have kind of been switching back and forth. You know, at first we thought Just a Kid should be the anchor because he's been playing a little bit stronger, but I think they're probably trying to predict the opponent's order and match him or something, you know. So at that point you can kind of swap them around.
Right. Whereas for Frost, Up to Snuff, Nephew, Dual Kevin, I feel like they have a little bit more leeway in terms of where they can put the players.
Yeah, look, all three of them have been super impressive to me. And at this point in time, I really just feel like you could put them in any order you want and just kind of confuse the opponents, like surprise them or something. I just feel like all of them have earned enough to just whoever can be anchor wherever, because they're all very strong.
And they continue to prove that this week. In the actual matches, it was Toy Birdie versus Up to Snuff Nikali. That was actually very close, but still a win for Up to Snuff.
Yeah, look, to give Toy some credit here, his birdie is actually looking stronger week after week. And in fact, between the three guys who have had to have the secondary birdies, clearly the strongest one out of all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe matches the Bison slow walk speed, good buttons. I don't know, maybe there's something to that, but he's been improving, and so, you know, he almost beat Punk last week.
That is true, too. Yeah, that's right. Then Nephew's G beat Just a Kid's Jury. Again, Nephew's G is very good.
Yeah, and Just a Kid started very strong, but look, Nephew, he's like the strong silent killer, you know? Like, he's just really, really good, very strong Nephew, very strong Colleen, very strong G, so, you know, he's already proven his G. There's no surprises here.
100% right. Then you had Dual Kevin Rashid closing it out 3-0 against Chakotay Mika.
Yeah, we've already talked about how impressive Dual Kevin is, not even just from the analytical standpoint, but just through his play. This past weekend at Texas Showdown, which had a lot of Street Fighter League players in the top 8, but he got 3rd place. I mean, it was like a breakout tournament for him. Honestly, he has been proving his Street Fighter strength so well. I've been so impressed by Dual Kevin.
Of course, Chakotay also got top 8 there, but not enough in this event right here. So when you think about what's been going on overall for Team Psycho, it's looking rough, right? What do you say to them at this point?
You know, not to give spoilers here, but you know, another player who's been getting banned a lot is Idom, right? But Samurai on that team has been stepping it up. Yeah. And what he has done is he has put pressure on the opponents now. Do you ban Laura? Do you ban Akuma? He's really started to make this question. Yeah. I feel like Just a Kid who looked like he was doing that in the first 2 weeks, because we started questioning it as well, but hasn't kept up with that since then. And Chakotay need to step up now, not to put so much pressure on them, but
crank it up, man. Something's got to happen over there.
Yeah, like those two need to start creating that conversation for Team Psycho as well. They need to get people wondering, should we be banning Bison? Because if not, this is gonna keep happening. Either that or Toy is just gonna have to really become best birdie NA, you know, very soon.
And on Frost's side, look, I continue to be impressed. They all played extremely well.
Yeah.
They all gave each other advice. They were cheering for each other. It seems like a very well put together team right now.
Very, very stand-up team right there, especially with Up to Snuff. Considering how tall he is, dude, in that interview, he made Rip look tiny, dude. Rip is not a short guy. Rip is actually a pretty tall guy.
Yeah.
And I did not know Up to Snuff was that tall.
For sure. Yeah. Up to Snuff maybe is right there in
there
the name.
You go.
All right. Well, again, that was a 3-0 in favor of Team Frost. Battle number 2 was between Gale, which is Do, Shine, and Rob TV, and Inferno, which is Punk, JB, and Broly Legs.
Yeah, and this one started off really interesting here with the bans, because Team Gale decided to ban Punk's Karen.
Okay.
Now, there is some side effects to this. There's some collateral damage because that means Rob TV's Karen is banned as well.
Right.
And Rob TV's Karen has been looking great this whole entire league. So what an interesting gambit here.
Very interesting play right there. Then you had, of course, Inferno banning Ibuki. No surprise, everybody's done the same thing versus Shine.
Yeah, I mean, Punk kind of had a little teasing to start, and then they banned it, and Shine was like, come on.
Yeah.
So sad.
In the order, you had Gale going with Shine, NuckleDo, and Rob TV. My guess is that they wanted to wait to see which character Do would play and then which character Rob would play.
Right, because you can't use the same character on the same team, and Rob's secondary character is Guile.
Right.
But if NuckleDo plays Guile, then that means Rob TV has to pick someone else. So I think NuckleDo was probably going to call an audible or something like that to go with Guile or Mika or something like that, and that's why he went before Rob TV. Because if Rob TV picked Guile, then NuckleDo wouldn't have that choice anymore.
Right. Very interesting play again. Then in Inferno, you had Punk, Broly Legs in the middle, JB on Anchor.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that they're obviously front-loading and back-loading their teams here. But again, Punk has been the end, he's been the front, he's been the end. I don't know what he's thinking, and
This week he's the alpha, not the omega.
Fair enough. And I get that you're...
All right!
I get it. Don't
Get into the
worry,
matches right there, yeah, I'm glad. Shine, Jury versus Punk, Colleen. They've clearly played each other 1,000 times. Punk ended up taking it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shine's Jury has been looking really strong. Obviously, like you said, they've played each other a lot, so it's going to be hard work. Jury is just hard work because she just don't got the mix.
Then NuckleDo did go with Guile versus Broly Legs Chun-Li.
Yeah, interesting. So I think because he saw Punk go with Colleen, maybe he was like, okay, I need to go with Guile or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time he's played Guile this whole entire league, either of them. Because remember, in our preview show, we said you should ban Guile from this team because you hurt 2 players. And none of them had played Guile up to this point. But finally, NuckleDo with a Guile. And it was really close.
Yeah, Broly definitely kept it close.
It was, I think it was like almost down to the last round. It was definitely to the last game.
It was the last game for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Broly, both him and Idom are winless right now, but Idom obviously has never been able to use his main character.
Correct.
So Broly is still, I think, the only winless player with their main character.
That is correct.
And I feel bad for him, but he's obviously a strong player, just hasn't had the chance to show his stuff.
Then you had JB Rashid beating Rob TV, who went with Nikali.
Yeah, and
it looked good.
He had none of his characters left.
Well, look, I feel like Nikali was his character. Don't you think he played well?
Yeah, actually, he played. So in game 1, he played really well, and he won game 1. But I feel like, I don't know, that made JB mad or something. Because all of a sudden, game 2 and game 3, JB just ran over him. Afterwards.
All right. So then it was on Do, and NuckleDo Guile did beat Punk Colleen, the first person in the Street Fighter League to beat Punk.
Yeah, and I mean, look, of course it's NuckleDo, right? I mean, he's kind of good.
He's kind of good.
He just got second place at Texas Showdown this past weekend. He's a former Capcom Cup champion. He's all right.
Decent resume right there, and he continues to prove it.
But he 2-0'd Punk, and he ended it with a perfect. So that was so good job to Do.
Yes.
And he looked really happy too when he beat Punk.
For sure. Then Do closed it out, beating JB Rashid. Trading games, went down to the final round.
Dude, last round. These two, I mean, just at Texas Showdown again this past weekend, this was grand finals.
Right.
And JB won that 3-0. Of course, NuckleDo and JB played a casual set afterwards, and NuckleDo won 10-3.
Whatever.
So, but I was super close here, so, these guys have been getting a lot of experience against each other.
That's definitely true.
But NuckleDo did get the win here, and a little bit of a pop-off, too, right? NuckleDo is normally very reserved, but right when he won, there was the stand-up and the headphones came crashing down. So, yeah, he was excited to hand Inferno their first loss.
Exactly, yeah. Inferno finally has a loss. Punk finally has a loss. It turns out that they can't just get by on having a team of Punk, UltraDavid and James Chen. Turns out that wouldn't have worked anyway, as we mentioned last week. JB still continues to do very well. Still obviously a great player. And while Broly is winless, as you said, he has faced the opponent's main characters each time. He hasn't played against a banned opponent yet. And he's taken games off of almost everybody. So he is still keeping it close.
Yeah, he's almost always lost the first game and then come back. And Jeremy and Steve were talking about that, how he's always made the adjustment. Not only that, but honestly, shout outs to Broly Legs. Clearly the most hilarious guy there.
Yes.
I mean, he was cracking up his teammates. Like, he made that joke, and you saw JB, he's like, serious face, and he just started cracking up. So, I love Broly Legs' humor, dude. It's so great.
But look, congrats to Team Gale. They're the giant slayers all of a sudden, and of course, it takes a giant to slay a giant, and that's what Do is.
Yeah, but not even just that, but look at the strategy. I mean, they nerfed Rob TV to his tertiary character. Right, and decided to ban Karen. What an interesting gambit. I mean, like, I almost feel like he's like Doctor Strange, and he saw the one way they could win, you know, and they had to try something really crazy, you know, take away Rob's character, but it worked, and they are the first team to hand Inferno a loss. And then Battle 3 was Storm, Idom, Samurai, and Classico versus Spirit, Justin Wong, Brian F, and Psycho.
So Storm banned Boxer, of course, away from Brian F, and I think that makes a lot of sense. We saw the Abigail in the previous week, and it did not look that hot.
Yeah, I mean, we said it in the preview show. I feel like the strategy is to nerf Brian F, just kind of take him out of the equation. Look, Justin's got, obviously he's got a Manat, he's got Karen, and, well, maybe he doesn't have a Falk. I was about to say that, but no, his Manat and Karen are strong, right?
For sure.
So if you ban one, you got to deal with the other. So I feel like taking out Brian F is the right call.
Okay, yep. And then Spirit, of course, naturally banned Idom, as Justin phrased it, meaning he banned Laura.
Yeah, but is it obvious?
We'll get to that, yeah. In the order, Storm went with Classico, Idom in the middle, Samurai on anchor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Samurai anchor. I mean, he's 2 OCVs, he's Mr. Clutch right now. Yeah. Idom going second was kind of interesting, but maybe they tried to throw a little monkey wrench in there because he had been going first all the time, and maybe the opponents have been like throwing up their band player to get an easy win versus Idom.
No, I think that makes sense. Spirit went with Brian F first, Psycho, then Justin on anchor.
Yeah, again, so here's an example right here, right? They probably put Brian F first, expecting him to get banned, and so he could use his secondary character against Idom's secondary character. Didn't work out that way. He had to go up against Classico instead.
Indeed he did in the first match, but Brian F actually took it, and I gotta say, the Abigail looked improved.
Yeah, looked a lot better than it did last week. And, you know, even last week I was saying, you know, Brian F, this is a character that he uses on a stream. He clearly knows the character to a degree, you know, so good job to him to being able to take out Classico's Urian.
Psycho Nikali then blew up Idom Birdie.
I think one round was
Next
close.
match, Samurai Akuma beat Justin Manat, and that was super close.
Dude, that one, I mean, that one's to the last round, last game, last round. Took a lot of very clutch play on both sides. There was a lot of clutch play, but Samurai got 2 timeouts on Justin? What?
In that last round, he had to both make a comeback in life and also win by timeout.
Yeah, you timed out Justin Wong? I mean, you used his own weapon against him, dude. But, I mean, look, Samurai has been, he was so close to beating Punk, and then, you know, last week he had the OC, last 2 weeks he had the OCVs. This guy is looking phenomenal.
And he continued playing against Abigail from Brian F. And look, Brian actually could have taken game number 1.
Yeah, you know, there is that little thing when they're not your main character. When they're your main character, every situation you've been in, you have optimal punishes. There was one point where Samurai left himself vulnerable, and a quick reaction was to throw from Brian F, which is always kind of the panic punish, you know, but he could have taken it if he just had that combo.
Other than that, it was basically Samurai, and his movement at the end was glorious. All the dashes and stuff.
The spacing.
Really showing off.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That movement right there, and again, we talked about it last week, the spacing and everything, the way he played against Justin. When he timed him out, he was backdashing instead of trying to play careful, like he was actually almost kind of taunting. Like I love the like he's such a quiet guy even in the interview,
Yeah.
one sentence answers, but his game speaks volumes.
I agree.
Love that.
He then had to play against Psycho's Nikali, and again, very close. Psycho actually made some errors in game number 1, and but for that, might have been able to take that game. And then he actually dominantly won the second game.
Yes.
So Samurai had to take it and close it out in the end, and he did.
Yeah.
Very close.
I mean, it was really close. I felt like they might have been a little nerves on Samurai because, man, 3rd week in a row, you're like, can I really do this 3 weeks in a row? You know, being the only person winning on my team, right? Because after he won, like, you even in the interview, you could see him smiling. He almost looked kind of relieved. You know,
Yeah.
he was saying that match with Psycho was super close. So, you know, there was definitely some pressure put on him, but pulled through again.
Again, and as you said, his 3rd OCV, incredible play by him. At this point, look, I understand everybody's afraid of Idom Laura, right? The fact that he hasn't been able to play that character each week is a sign of how much people respect and fear him and that character. But at this point, do you begin at least considering banning Akuma?
It's not obvious anymore.
Right.
It's 100% not obvious. I mean, look, a lot of people on social media who have been watching, you know, a lot of names in the FGC have been saying, look, you gotta ban Akuma. He's a top tier character used by a top tier player. Laura's not even top tier, a lot of people. I mean, again, that shows how respectful people are of Idom's Laura, that they're that scared of him. But again, this is the pressure that Samurai needed to put on the opposing teams.
Right.
And I think, you know, he's sending a message. I love it right now. And Samurai, we said he was the MVP last week. He is clearly the MVP this week. He is looking so strong.
For Spirit, I mean, every week I feel like this team plays well, they play close, each member of the team is strong, and they lose again 2-3.
Their 1-4 record right now is not indicative of how they're playing at all, in my opinion.
They're all playing well.
Yeah, Justin lost a super close one to Punk. He just lost a super close. If he had beaten Samurai, we would have been talking about this 3-0 domination. You know? So this team has been playing super well. We picked them to like be the number 2 team, and here they are 1-4 halfway through, so they've got some work to do.
If you check the standings after another week, you will see that Inferno remains on top, but with that 1 in the L column that was not there before.
Yeah, we're halfway through here, so everyone's played every other team. I'm sure they thought they would be sitting pretty at a 5-0 flawless record, but that's not happening.
Nope.
Yep, and then in second place is Team Storm. I mean, if this was a movie, it would be called The Last Samurai at this point in time, because look, they were 0-2 after the first 2 weeks, and then 3 in a row, but that has all been Samurai, 9-0ing everybody. So he has been playing out of his mind. But you know, right behind him is Team Frost and Team Gale in 3rd and 4th, 3-2 records themselves, playing very strong. Nephew's team really stepping up, Knuckle-Doo beating Punk this week, so they're looking good right now.
Then in 5th you have Spirit, and at 1-4, again, I don't really feel like that reflects the state of the play that we've seen from the players. They've had close matches like every week, and then rounding it out, you have Psycho also at 1-4, and actually I kind of feel that is the state of play.
Okay. I mean, look, Justin Kidd obviously has looked pretty strong in the first couple of weeks, but you know, I feel like that team definitely needs to step it up. But you know, everyone has this opportunity. They've all played each other now. We've gone through the first half. They all know each other, that, you know, they've got to think about their band, so I'm really interested to see how everything's gonna play out in the second half of the Street Fighter League.
And that continues each Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can watch it at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters and youtube.com/Capcom Fighters.
Make sure you tune in.